This is the 2024 BMW iX3, and what this car is basically a BMW X3 that has been fully electrified, meaning no number coding. You never have to pay for gas ever again. But is it just that? Is it really just an X3? Well, in this video, let's find out. But first, let's start off with the exterior. On the outside, at first glance, it looks exactly like a BMW X3. No surprise there, but take a look at some of the touches that they've given you. For example, your BMW badge, you have a blue halo around it. This grille, it's not really a grille anymore. It's still shaped like BMW's kidney grille, and it is still a little bit too big, as with other BMWs, but it is now just closed. It is flat. Now, look down below here too, since this does receive the M Sport package. You got a couple of blacked out, piano blacked out accents over there. Yet another blue stripe here by the corner. And on the side too, you'll see that you do have a different set of rims. These are 19 inches big. And yes, the BMW center logo right there also has that blue ring on it. Now, being an M Sport variant of this vehicle, you got an M Sport badge. You got the M shadow line, which only means that you don't have chrome around your windowsills. And your roof rails, well, they are also blacked out. For the rear too, there's only minor changes right here. So your wing, that's a little bit different in terms of design. The BMW logo again has that blue halo on it, and down below, of course, you don't get any exhaust pipes because you don't really need any of it. This one doesn't emit fumes. There's also some extra blue accents there to again remind you that you have an electric vehicle. Now let's open up this tailgate, and yes, it is powered, thankfully. And what you'll notice right here is the space in here, the cargo area, it's very square. So it's not some weird irregular shape, so this is a very usable trunk area. Also, compared to the regular ICE X3, the diesel one, you don't have like a load lip over here, which is really good. But the downside to that is you no longer get a spare tire. So all you have here is a tire repair kit. Anyway, just in case you still need extra space, you can even fold down those rear seats 40, 20, 40. And BMW even throws in this cargo net thing to prevent things from moving forward. So now for the powertrain. Oh, wait, hold on. It doesn't have an engine here. It doesn't have a gasoline or diesel engine because this is electric. So I'll tell you the power figures later on in the driving segment, but for now, I'll tell you the range. BMW claims that you can do up to 460 kilometers on a single charge from its 80 kilowatt-hour battery. But during my testing, realistically, it only return around 400 kilometers on a single charge. And this is with mixed heavy city traffic and highway use already, which honestly isn't too bad in itself. Now, for this front area, as you can see, there's a ginormous cover over here. But as you lift this cover up, you'll see that there's a huge dead space in here, which honestly, I wish BMW used this extra space to put like a tiny storage compartment, but they didn't. But anyway, at least you can open up this cover easily and tinker on with the stuff in here. Let's quickly teleport and time travel to a different day from the original video. So now I'm going to talk about charging your BMW iX3. So charging this is very simple. Where you'd usually find your fuel filler area, that's exactly where you're going to charge to. Now this uses a CCS2 plug. So there's two plugs on it, there's two sockets on it. The top part, that's your AC slow charging, and the bottom part is your DC fast charging. Couple that together, and the DC charging uses both of those plugs at the same time. That's what we have here right now. So we are currently in BMW Centris. We're getting the fast charging station over here, and this is pretty quick. But just to give you an idea, if you charge in Shell TP Lex Rosario, they have a 180 kilowatt charger over there, which can charge your BMW iX3 from 10% to 80% in an astounding 19 minutes. So you can just quickly grab a coffee or a meal, and then you're good to go on the way to Baguio. But if you're gonna use your slow charger, for example, if you go to the malls, like in SM malls or Ayala malls, you can also charge your car up with those slower chargers. Now, those will take a couple of hours to charge, but those are just good for a little bit of topping up while you do some shopping. If you buy your BMW iX3 too, BMW Philippines will throw in an 11 kilowatt charger for free, and they will install it in your home. This charger can charge you from 0% to 100% in only 7.5 hours. And I know you're gonna say, that's a little bit too long, but you have to think about it like you're charging your phone when you get home at night. You just plug it in, and by the time you wake up, it's already fully charged. And also, it's not like you're gonna consume 100% of your battery a day in a single commute. So at most in a day, you'd probably spend 30% only. So that's only a fraction of that 7.5 hours. Now inside the vehicle, first we check the door stud. And that is typical of BMW. It sounds excellent. So the interior of this vehicle, at first glance, it looks like a regular BMW X3. And after multiple glances more, it still looks like a BMW X3 because it is exactly the same. The only indication that you have that this isn't a regular X3 is if you look at this tiny plate by the center, well, it says iX3. The rest of this, exactly the same. Great materials on the dashboard, great materials on the doors. Even the steering wheel, the leather wrapping on it is really good. It's nicely thick too, and also tilt and telescoping. For your screens, you have a dual screen setup. Both of them are 12.3 inches big. Your digital instrument cluster is so clear. This center touchscreen is also really easy to use. And this one still uses iDrive 7, which is an easier iDrive system to use. Why, I'll tell you later. But anyway, this gets wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and you even have a reverse camera. Now, going back to this iDrive 7 thing, the newer BMWs with the iDrive 8 and all that, they have a huge curved display, which admittedly looks excellent, but they lack one thing: physical buttons. This one, meanwhile, still gets physical buttons for your AC as well as your radio, and I really like that. I think all cars should go back to a lot of these physical buttons. The seats, they're also really nice. These are sportier M Sport seats, nice bolsterings on it, power adjustable for both the driver's side and the passenger side, and this headrest can even be moved forwards and backwards. Plus, you even have this manual thigh support adjustment. Yes, that is a BMW trademark. Oh, another thing that differentiates this from the X3 that we tried out a while back is this gets a full panoramic sunroof. That is excellent. For the second row of seats, now we also check the door. That sounds really good. Okay, back here, it's again exactly the same as a BMW X3, and that isn't exactly a good thing because if you look, there is still a transmission tunnel despite this car not really having a transmission, right? And that's because, again, this car was never developed from the ground up to be an electric vehicle. This was just retrofitted into the existing X3 platform, which is sad, because that would increase space so much back here. But now, speaking of space, space is still pretty okay as long as you're not too tall. I'm only 5'6", short, which isn't really tall at all, and I have lots of legroom and lots of headroom too, despite having this panoramic sunroof. And I still do get a little bit of toys back here, including the center armrest with cup holders. I have my own air vents. I can even control the climate back here, so this gets a tri-zone climate control system. And I also get 2 USB-C ports. Now, even as a passenger, you'd enjoy right here because this car comes with a Harman Kardon sound system, which honestly sounds pretty good too. So now we drive the BMW iX3, and the biggest question we have here is, will it drive exactly the same as a BMW X3? Well, for the most part, I would say yes, but not exactly so. Let's touch on the power first. So the local BMW X3 that is available here in the Philippines is only the xDrive 20D. And that only makes 190 horsepower and 400 Newton meters of torque. For this one, you have an 80 kilowatt hour battery paired to a rear motor. So yes, this is a rear wheel drive BMW, as all BMW should be. And this one makes 286 horsepower and 400 Newton meters of torque. 0 to 100 in only 6.8 seconds. And I know you might say, okay, so the regular X3 diesel gets 400 Newton meters of torque, but this one too. But why does it feel that much faster? Well, first of all, again, 286 horsepower versus 190, and all that 400 Newton meters of torque doesn't require any spooling. You don't have any gears in this. It just goes immediately, instant torque right off the bat, and it just makes this extremely fun, as all BMW should be. Also, just like a regular X3, this car handles pretty well. You can really feel that there is some extra heft in it because it is much heavier due to the battery pack, but it doesn't really take away from the handling too much. If anything, it kind of did add to the handling because since this car is a lot heavier, BMW had to beef up the suspension a little bit more just to be able to cope with that extra weight, so it's a little bit firmer. It handles a little bit better over corners, and yeah, it's just a pretty nice handling car overall. There is a little bit of an issue with that though, and that is the feeling that there's a little bit more directness and there's a little bit more weight at the bottom of the vehicle, but the top part of it feels light. which is something we've been noticing in a lot of EVs. An additional extra for that is, since this is the M Sport package, not only does it come with the M Sport suspension, but it also does come with adaptive dampers, which the xDrive 20D Business at least doesn't get. So you can leave this car into comfort mode, and it is pretty good in terms of dealing with bumps and potholes. In fact, I think it's a little bit better compared to the regular X3. But if you put it in sport mode, it tightens it up just a little bit, not enough to make you uncomfortable, but more than enough to let you have a little bit more fun around corners. And by being a BMW, they really did not sacrifice on steering feel. The steering feel is excellent. You feel everything. Even if you leave this car into Eco Pro or Comfort mode, there is still more than enough steering feedback as you're going fast, and it still is also pretty light enough in city speeds. Throw this into Sport mode and it tightens up so much. You get excellent feedback all around. You just feel one and connected with this vehicle as you drive it along. But what definitely makes this special compared to a regular X3, surprise, is just how quiet it is. I'm not saying that the X3 xDrive 20D is a loud vehicle. It's not. That diesel engine, we've really come a long way from the diesels of Euros in the 80s and the 90s. It still is a pretty smooth engine, but this one just takes it up a notch further. No, multiple notches further. I mean, there is just zero sound coming from this vehicle. In some EVs, you're gonna hear some sort of a weird electric whir. In this one, there's barely any of it. It just is a very serene ride as you drive along. Couple that with excellent noise insulation, both from wind noise as well as tire noise. This is just, it's a very comfortable cruiser for both in-city driving as well as in highway speeds. And speaking of highway speeds too, being a European car, being a true BMW, it's also a great highway cruiser. It just tracks really well. So, to answer the question at the start of the video, is it just an X3? Well, honestly, after driving it around, yes, it is just an X3 that's been electrified, and that is still a good thing because it still feels like a very familiar BMW. It still has that BMW DNA of giving you tons of power, great handling, and obviously rear wheel drive. But now we have to talk about the price. How much does the iX3 cost? Well, for context, the regular BMW X3 Business costs 4,190,000 pesos. The higher trim, the professional, costs 4,490,000 pesos. And this car, will it cost much more? Well, no. This car only costs 4,990,000 pesos, which I know is a large sum of money. But given that you're getting this car with a great badge up at the front and still with great driving dynamics, if you're really looking for an electric vehicle with decent amounts of range, the BMW iX3 is not a bad option.